All right, what's up? Good morning. Happy Sunday, heathens. How y'all doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope that you are having a wonderful day so far and that your day has started off with ease. Ashe. Okay. I am Sheena Butler, aka Sister Roots, aka your favorite root worker, aka the Reverend Heathen, your leading heathen. And we are back for another episode of Sunday School for Heathens. Ashe. Amen. Okay. Um, do we have any church announcement? We were out last week, okay? Because your girl was tired. I had a lot going on. Still kind of got a lot going on. The grand homies are here. I got both of them together. One of them lives with me, but my other one, my little baby, my baby Rue, I got her for the next few days. So I had to hurry up and get this in. I didn't wake up early enough. But nevertheless, my oldest son got them occupied, so we're going to get to it, okay? We don't have any church announcements. Again, thank you guys for all of the support, all of the love, all right? Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, and just rocking with me. Thank you for the love offerings, the tithes offerings, and the sacrificial givings. Again, I greatly appreciate you for sowing a seed into the ministry of heathens here at House of Heathens Missionary Baptist Church. We appreciate you. And if you ever feel so called, feel so moved, if you want to sow a seed into the heathen ministry, you are able to do so at $SISTAROOTZ. Sister Ruth, I appreciate you. This is not me soliciting, because you know how y'all get. All right, so let's get to it. Today, we got an old fan favorite. Listen, y'all like my hoodie? Now, this one I designed on my own. I had found a little sublimation station or whatever, and I had designed this one on my own. But shout out to my merch people. All right, Sister Renika, a fellow heathen. Sister Juicy, I appreciate y'all. My cousin Charity, I appreciate everybody who has ever contributed to the merchandise that I wear, to the apparel that I wear. And yes, we are putting some things in place. Listen, I got big plans for the heathen movement. Okay. But merchandise will be available for purchase soon. All right, so get your heathen gear. We're gonna have shirts and hoodies. I'm a hoodie girl myself. I love a hoodie. Don't matter what time of the year it is, because first of all, they keeps it cold in my house, baby. Them teenagers keeps it cold. And then like my grandma said, the older you get this old thin blood, baby. I don't know what happened. Yeah, man. Baby, I became my grandma and got cold as shit. I don't like this shit. All right, let me tell you something. Babe, I be in here shivering, like shaking like booty meat. All right, I can't. Babe, I fell asleep. Y'all be seeing my little ugly blue cardigan I be wearing. But listen, that's an old faithful. Keeps me warm, holds me close. Okay, I knew it was real when I fell asleep in that mom. And didn't wake up sweating. Slept the whole night in it. I said, baby, some things has changed. I need to go get some labs drawn. I wonder if I'm a little anemic. But anyway, listen. So again, Heathen Apparel will be available soon. Again, we appreciate all of the support. Okay, so today we got a good old fan favorite. Good old Southern Baptist favorite. The Holy Rollers love this story, right? And we are talking about the story of Joseph. Yeah, Lord. From the pit to the palace. Amen. All right. This is where we get the famous what the devil meant, what you meant for bad. God turned it around in my favor. God used it for my good. This is where we get this from. Okay. So if you are a ex-Christian, an ex-saint, you already know the story. And so you already see, I mean, you're familiar with how we look at the transition of Joseph's life from being a so-called favorite, a chosen one, okay, to being betrayed by his brothers, to being cast into a pit, to being sold into slavery, to being put in prison, like all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like Joseph had a lot of shit going on. Got a rape accusation, a SA. He almost caught a charge. He did catch the charge. Okay, like it was a lot going on for the young man. All right, so we're gonna talk about it. So we're gonna talk about how Joseph's life, the story of Joseph, can directly mirror your awakening. Because remember, I'm taking the Bible and I'm showing you in the Bible. Okay, so we're gonna show you how this applies to you in the metaphysical and in the esoteric. Ashe, amen. All right, let's go. So Joseph, purpose, betrayal, and divine promotion. This is coming from Genesis 37 through 50. Okay, this was a long stretch. Joseph had to go. He had a nice little run. Okay, he had a nice little shit show. All right. So the central theme is the story of Joseph is one of the most powerful narratives of transformation in the Bible. It is a story of dreams, betrayal, suffering, faithfulness, forgiveness, divine elevation. Remember, for the kids, they got Joseph in the coat of many colors. Okay, we're gonna talk about that coat. All right. The key question is, how does God use adversity? Because it ain't a real blessing if you ain't get your ass whooped before you got it. Okay, something about getting that ass toe up. Make you appreciate it. Like they say, you can't appreciate the sunshine without the rain, baby. Let me tell you something. That's some bullshit. It's true. We all know it's true. If you done been there, you done been there. The bad make you be like, God damn, I'm glad I ain't gotta deal with this no more. You will never appreciate peace without chaos. Simple as that. Okay. So let's look at Joseph. Okay. Joseph is the son of Jacob. We're gonna look at the traditional version first, as always. Okay. Joseph is the son of Jacob, favored by his father. Right then and there, we starting off wrong. Okay, we starting off wrong. Listen, I know. Let me tell you something. As the person who grew up in a home where the dynamics were distinctly different amongst me and my siblings. And don't get me wrong, we all experience a different version of the parent, right? We're living in the same house, but we're living in completely different worlds, okay? None of us are getting the same experience, right? It took me to be a mother and a grandmother. Because I'm gonna tell you that bullshit where they be like, the love that we have for our grandchildren is different. No, it's not. It's not. It's literally the same love that you have for your children. It's not stronger. It's not clearer. It's not any of that. At its core, it is the exact same love. So when you see grandparents treat grandchildren 1,000 times more than they treated you, understand that was a choice. That was a choice. Okay? There may be more clarity. There may be more understanding, but when it comes to the love, it's no different. And when it comes to favoritism, that is not that. Listen, you can never justify having favorites to me. You can't. I have 4 children, and I got one right now acting a pure ass. You understand me? When I say acting a pure ass, I mean acting a pure ass. And even in her pure assness, I still love that little raggedy heifer. No different than the day I found out I was pregnant with him. Then the day I pushed out and the little heifer almost broke my tailbone because she was refusing to turn. I knew she was going to be a problem. But ancestors be with her, baby, because life going to tear that ass up. I see you when you get back. Anyway, so favoritism right off the rip. He's being failed. He's being failed. Showing favoritism to a child blatantly in the presence of other children puts that child directly in harm's way. It creates this is where we enter the territories of sowing seeds of strife and discord. It is dangerous to have favorites. You hear me? And don't get me, while we might have children that are easier, there should never be a favorite. Okay? So Joseph is already in a vulnerable position. Okay? He's given prophetic dreams about his future. Joseph is a dreamer. Shout out to all the dreamers. I used to be a heavy dreamer. I'm still a dreamer, but not really. My other gifts have kicked online so hard. So my dreams have kind of like, they're my least, they're my least, what would I say, sharpened? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that. It's not my strongest gift anymore. At one point in time, dreams were my thing, but now I know when I have a dream, I know when I need to pay attention. I know it's almost like dreams don't feel like dreams now. Like once you get to a certain path, a certain point on the path, when you've been sharpening your gifts and really paying attention and keeping your body clean as possible, and really honing in on your downloads and all of that, like dreams, your dreams will be just as clear as your downloads. You start realizing that it all kind of melds together. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different presentation. If you are a person who works better in the astral, then your dreams are going to be, your main mode of movement during this experience. Others of us, I guess, prefer a more absolute approach, so we got to go out there and learn all these hard ass lessons. So a lot of people clear their karma in the astrals by dreaming, by astral projecting, but then the majority of us just learn by getting our ass tore up. Okay, all right. So his brothers become jealous and they conspire against him. Remember, he's in a position of vulnerability without realizing it. When the light is on you, everybody don't want that spotlight, but you forget that the spotlight makes you an easy target. Like that's what you forget. So a lot of people get to the spotlight, they get the light that they want. And you forget that the spotlight is also illumination. It's mass illumination. So now there's an opportunity to see all of you. And if you aren't good with all of you, that spotlight can be detrimental. That spotlight can rock your world. Okay? Test some limits. Test some boundaries. All right? So his brothers become jealous of him. They conspire against him. And then they throw him into a pit. Now, before we get here, okay? Because see, people in the church, they like to gloss over. They like to gloss over how Joseph ended his ass up in that pit, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. Joseph wasn't no saint, all right? And Joseph wasn't no humble nigga, all right? The Bible speaks explicitly about Joseph bragging. Joseph was not very humble, okay? All of them dreams and all of that he was having that was revealing to him that he was going to be on top. Joseph was going in the field like, listen, hey, y'all listen up. Talking to all his brothers. Hey, listen, I done had some dreams, okay? And I know y'all too damn stupid to understand what these dreams are. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it is, all right? These dreams that I'm having means that I'm finna be over y'all. Y'all going to bow to me, okay? So you can get right with it now, or you can get right. Settle your mind on that shit now, or settle your mind on that shit later, okay? And then you got your daddy out here parading them around, making them a coat. Everybody, can you imagine? You got all of these brothers. You just imagine you one of the brothers. Okay, you one of the brothers. All of a sudden, your dad done had this son that just lights up his life. He doing all kinds of shit for him that he ain't did for you or the other ones. And then y'all wearing stank ass clothes to go out and work the fields and be with the oxen and whatever. I mean, not oxen, with the cattle. Yeah, they was raising oxen. Cause I remember like oxens and asses in like yeah, oxen. Okay, so they out there with the oxen. They they stanking and shit, and he come bringing his little happy ass down. First of all, why you ain't out here with us? Like, okay, where you been? Listen. Whoo, baby, ain't nothing like growing up with a sibling that you know your parent killed. You listen, it is very clear. My sister is the favorite. My brother is the baby. I'm the oldest. I'm the second parent. It is what it is. All right. My sister's the princess. My brother's the baby. And I was deemed a sophisticated hoodlum. Literally, that's what my mama called me. But listen, I wear that title proudly. I wear it proudly. All right. Integration is a beautiful thing. All right. But so Joseph, they out there working. All right. And he come bring his ass out here with this coat. This loud ass coat on. You can see him coming from. They just imagine you working in the field. You gotta stop, drink something from the little cowhide canteen. I always wanted a canteen. I think I'm gonna get me a canteen to heal my inner child, because I always wanted a canteen. No, I'm not finna go camping. But damn it, I want a canteen. Okay, so I think I'm gonna get me one. But then here he come with this colorful shit on, talking about I done had a dream and y'all gonna bow to me. And oh, by the way, Daddy made this coat. I put that shit on, huh? I throw your ass in the pit too. Okay? Because you gotta think about it. Think about anybody who has a sibling, especially if they're a younger sibling. You know how much shit your sibling got to do to get to the point where you can't stand them that much that you sell them into slavery. Like, my sister and brother get on my goddamn nerve. I'm telling you, they do. Bad. Real bad, especially my sister. Okay? But I ain't going to sell her into slavery. You know how much shit Joseph had to be talking? You know how many, and I know they gave him some warnings, like, say, bro, chill out. Like, all right. Go on about your business, bro. Go on by your daddy. Go on by your daddy if I beat your ass. You always bringing your little stupid ass over here, talking that silly shit, and then you gonna run by your daddy. You better get from over it. I know. I already know. So, I mean, I'm not saying it was justified. You can't sell your sibling, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, times is hard. They was trading. They hadn't even discovered corn yet, right? So we got to trade oxen. Then we got to calculate how many sheep it's going to take to get us to the next point. Like, that's a lot. And you come here with this loud ass coat on, boy, listen, you finna get out of here. All right. So Joseph's brothers conspire against him and they sell him into slavery. Boom. They take the coat. They put some blood from an animal on the coat. They take the coat to their dad and they say, listen, something got him. We know this is gonna hurt you. We know that was your man. I know Jacob knew they was lying. I know Jacob said, y'all killed my son. I know, my boy, I know you. I know y'all. Y'all always wanted to hurt him. He was the only one who treated me right. Yeah. I know that. Listen, I love my sister dearly. You hear me? But if I ever bought one of my sister's clothes to my mama with some blood on it and said, like, if me and my sister went to the woods and a bear ate my sister, right? And I bring my sister's coat back and say that me and Gina was in the woods and a bear ate it, baby, let me tell you, my mama gonna call the police so fast. This bitch done killed my baby. Listen. Baby, they better find the bell, because if not, it's over with for me. You hear me? Brenda would never believe that something. Yeah, she would listen. She would be like, "No, you did it, bitch. You did it." But anyway, so they sell him into slavery. They go tell the daddy that the animal has killed Joseph. Jacob becomes severely depressed. They end the story. All right. Next time we see Joseph, hold on one second, y'all. Okay, my apologies. So the next time we see Joseph, Joseph is in Egypt, okay, where he experiences slavery, false accusations, and imprisonment, okay? Despite these hardships, Joseph remains faithful. Eventually, he rises to become the governor of Egypt, who's second only to the Pharaoh. Right? He went all the way up there. He went all the way up there, okay? And then years later, Joseph's brothers come seeking food during a famine. And rather than seeking revenge, Joseph forgives them and saves his family, okay? So we're going to break it down piece by piece. Let's look at Joseph's dreams first, okay? Joseph receives dreams showing his brothers bowing before him and his future elevation. Now, in the traditional sense, those dreams reveal God's sovereign plan, divine calling, and future destiny. Okay, God's favor. He done shown me I'm going to be over y'all. He done called me. I heard the Lord say. Okay. The key principle is God often reveals purpose before fulfillment. Okay. So when Joseph saw his brothers bowing to him, he was still on the same playing field as them. They were still in the same house. Okay. The elevation hadn't happened yet. Okay. Now, the betrayal by his brothers, what does that look like? What happens is his brothers hate him, they reject him, and they sell him into slavery. Traditional meaning is that the betrayal demonstrates human jealousy, which is not, baby, listen, they don't call it the green-eyed monster for nothing. You hear me? Jealousy in any way, shape, form, or fashion has all the potential it needs to become fatal. One seed of jealousy. You know how they say you got to look at. I used to love to play with acorns. I don't know why, but I did. In the neighborhood that I grew up in, there was a lot of acorns. The schoolyards, there was a lot of acorns because there was a lot of oak trees. I love oak trees. Oak trees and weeping willows. Those are my favorite trees. And that's what I'm going to have all on my property. But anyway, I remember they taught us like everything that is needed to become an oak tree was inside that acorn. Everything. And acorns were so hard to break. I remember I was determined to break them. And then you mush them down and they have like that little orange kind of pulp on the inside. And then I ate it too. I ate it as a kid. Don't act like y'all ain't eating no damn acorns and grass and stuff. We did. Y'all did. So anyway, I had chewed on the acorn stuff, and it wasn't good. And I remember being highly disappointed. I don't know. Kids would be doing shit. I don't know why, 'cause I thought it was gonna taste good. I don't know why I thought it was gonna taste good, but it was terrible, right? But anyway, I remember them telling us everything that is needed for that tree, that big ass tree. They took us out on the yard and had us look at the tree. They had us pick up the acorns and then look at the tree and say that tree is inside that acorn. Everything that tree needed to become as big as it is right now. Oh, this thing gonna preach. You hear me? I feel it in my shanana. He coming in a Honda. Like my grandma used to say, fly to baby. Listen, everything that big ass oak tree came out of that acorn. And I remember thinking, Baby, that's I remember as a kid, I couldn't. I hear what y'all saying. I can't wrap my mind around it though. I couldn't, and you know why I couldn't wrap my mind around it? Because I hadn't lived long enough. This thing gonna preach, you hear me? You better know you're limiting yourself. You can't wrap your mind around the potential of who you are. We can't hold it right here. We ain't here yet. We ain't here yet. All right? Hold on. Hold it. Hold it. It was finna get good to me. Okay, listen. The betrayal demonstrates human jealousy, sinful motives, family conflict. The key principle is God's plans cannot be stopped by human opposition. Hey, and now at this point, they're gonna break into a little shout. Just a little one, not much. Not much, not much. Just a little one. Just a little. Just get you a little moist. Just a little moist. Okay, they ain't getting all the way into the full on heavy petting yet. Okay, hold on. All right. The pit, what happens? Joseph is thrown into a dry dirt pit. Okay. The traditional meaning, because when his brothers initially bound him up before they was when they saw him in his coat and they despised him. And again, this is Genesis 37 through 50. So if you want to go and listen to the story, listen to the story. It's a cool ass story. This has always been one of the stories that I appreciate in the Bible. I truly do enjoy the Bible stories. And I enjoy them even more now that I'm doing it from the heathen perspective, okay? So his brothers throw him into a pit, because listen, before they was going to sell him, they were going to murk his little ass. That's what Joseph was down in the pit, and them brothers was like, listen, we're going to have to get rid of this one. Which is like, how we doing? They're like, what we going? Like, they had the plan, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was getting ready they was going to do him. I said, I know Joseph ass, okay. But listen, let me not say this too. Let me say this. Let me say this. The only reason why I think that Joseph, well, I ain't gonna say I think, I know, it's in the text that there was some provocation going. But what I want to say is, don't assume that you have to provoke anybody for them to be. Sometimes jealousy is enough. You don't have to do anything. You can be completely silent. Sometimes jealousy is enough. Now, in this story, Joseph was actively bragging. And some might not view it as bragging. Some might view it as he was just young, naive, and saying, just coming and telling the brother. I don't see it like that. I don't see it because if that's the case, you had to be very, very young and childish and immature. So you could look at it from two different ways. But the way that I've always heard it was from a semi-arrogant standpoint. Okay. And that the brothers just, they already couldn't stand him and he kept talking. All right. So he was in the pit. They were going to kill him. I think it was Benjamin. Don't give me the saying the wrong names, but I think it was Benjamin. Y'all, let me make sure I'm right. Y'all know, because y'all know how y'all get. And it was actually Joseph. Hold on. Let me find out which brother suggested the thieves. Hold on. See? Y'all finna be on my ass. It was Judah. Judah was the one who looked up and saw the band of thieves or slave catchers or whatever, and was like, listen, y'all, we ain't got to murder, because he was looking at his other brothers like, damn, y'all gonna kill that still our brother, bro. What I mean, he get on my nerves too, but you can't kill his you know what I'm saying? So he was like, listen, let's just sell him. All right. Judah had some sense. So it wasn't Benjamin. Let's be clear. Okay, because that's what they be looking for. That's how they try and get us. That's how they try and say the heathens don't know. You can't listen to us because we ain't got our facts straight. It was Judah, damn it. This heathen got her facts straight. Okay, so it was Judah who suggested selling him into slavery. So the pit represents rejection, isolation, and suffering. This is being outcast. This is being betrayed by those who love you. This them gut punches. This is the knives in the back. This is the what did I miss? Like, shout out to Drake. I know a lot of people don't mess with Drake no more. I mean, I just still think he's a cold ass artist. Whatever. Anyway, what did I miss? You always felt like this. Damn, I was just trying to tell y'all about my dreams and stuff. I ain't asked for this jacket. Daddy gave me this jacket. Y'all, how y'all gonna hit me behind a jacket? If you know, you know. If you been there, you been there. That's a pain like no other. Key principle: God is present even in life's lowest moments. Because Joseph was sitting in that pit and he did not know what conversations were being had. Joseph couldn't hear what was going on. Joseph didn't know that they were about to kill him. Joseph just knew that at that moment, his fate was in fate's hands. At this moment is where we see divine intervention. Okay, this is when you hear I am the co-creator of life. This is why we can never fully claim to be the creator of life. We can be the creator of reality, but we cannot claim to be the creator. There is a divine source of intelligence. There is a divine knowledge. There is a divine intercession that happens that which we cannot explain, but it is just literally the universe and everything lining up to support you. What we call God, right? So at that moment, this is when the lines of fate begin to line up, right? So he's sold into slavery, where he becomes a servant in Potiphar's house. Potiphar was an important person in the land. Okay, he worked up under the Pharaoh. And let's be clear here too. There were multiple pharaohs, okay, because there were they think of them like multiple kingdoms. So multiple rulers, multiple kingdoms. So when you hear the word pharaoh, it doesn't necessarily mean the grand pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? Like there were several pharaohs, but anyway, Potiphar worked directly up under the pharaoh that was assigned to that part of the land, that part of that slice in time. Okay. And so in the house, when he's working in the house, okay, he's demonstrating integrity, faithfulness, and character. He's just being him. And see, this is the thing. And that's what I wanted to say. Like when Joseph was in the pit, the reason why you never have to worry about the pit, come on, baby, this thing, listen, you never have to worry about the pit when you know the type of person you are. When you know you pure, the pit don't bother you. You hear me? Because you begin to understand and you begin to trust that everything about who you are is always being put out into all of the good energy, all of the beautiful energy of who you are, if you are a good person, because everybody ain't a good person. Everybody doesn't operate with an air of good energy, right? But if you are a person that operates on the frequency of good energy, you will always find alignment. You see what I'm saying? So even when Joseph was in the pit, the divine intercession that happens is nothing more than ensuring that Joseph stays on the frequency of being taken care of. You see what I'm saying? It's just the frequency of him and trusting, because the pit. Let me hold on. Okay. So the key principle about Joseph being being put in Potiphar's house is about position, right? So the one thing that you have to pay attention to throughout the whole story of Joseph is divine positioning. And how we don't understand that sometimes. That's why you got, oh, baby, listen, I'm going to let this thing do what it wants. That's why you got to learn how to flow. You hear me? That's why you can't. Joseph could have. Oh, okay, listen. When he gets in Potiphar's house and he's doing this thing, he's being a good and faithful servant. He's being a good steward, right? He's showing good character. He's getting this shit done. Potiphar paying attention. He's like, Joseph, I see how you handling shit. You know what I'm saying? You making sure shit done. I like your work ethic. You know what I'm saying? You got good mannerisms. You know, you got a good spirit. You don't come in here with no attitude and all that. Like, I just want you to know I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? But listen, even in all of that, here we come. Here we come with a funky ass woman. Potiphar's wife. Now, from my understanding, Joseph was hot piece. Okay, Joseph. If we, okay, you know, so we only looking at Bible stories from the black standpoint. Okay, so in my head, all of the characters are black. All right, so I'm looking at Joseph like '90s fine, right? You see what I'm saying? Like Morris Chestnut, best man. All right, that's if I got the thing peak. If I'm thinking maximum '90s fine, we're talking Morris Chestnut, the best man. Specifically, the scene where he walks into the restaurant where Quentin and all of them are meeting up, and Quentin is just finished playing guitar, and he walks in. I'm telling you, that movie what 30? Is it 30 years old now? Yeah, it should be somewhere around there, okay? It ain't a day, it ain't a time. You hear me? It ain't a time that I don't watch that damn movie. And when that scene hits and that piece of chocolate walks in there, that I don't say, consistently. Do you hear me? I mean, every time. It's just as fresh. You understand me? That is timeless chocolate. That is time. Listen. See, if we had some organ music, I'd have the break us. Let's get some praise for the chocolate piece that is Morris Chestnut. Amen. Okay. So I picture Joseph looking like that. Okay. So you got Joseph looking like that, and then you got Potiphar, you know, looking like. Let's see what we had to give it. If we had to give, let's put an image to Potiphar. Carl Winslow. We'll take it. Okay. You know that woman was in there like, you said who that? She called the kitchen say, hey, come here. Who that is? We did. Who? Baby, but she had to have him. She had to have him. You hear me? I'm talking to the point where she went at him. And she went at him so strong when he was trying to get away. He was like, nah, get off me, bitch. Okay? And he ran up out of his clothes. He ain't give her that dang-a-ling. He ain't give her what she wanted. And what she do? She cried. Okay. And because she had Joseph's coat, she used that, not the coat, the little, whatever it was, the little. And you know, I picture them walking around like in like linen sets. You know, like if we talking Black Egypt, all right, like all of the dudes, like we talking about beautiful chocolate, copper, you know, caramel tones everywhere. Like the people, the skin is skinning, the melanin is popping. Okay, the servants got linen suits on, like linen sets. You know what I'm saying? Like the kind that the brothers be wearing. To like cognac cards and cigars and some shit like that with the open toe flip-flop, leather flip. You know what I'm talking about? But just like the real nice smooth linen that just flows, you know what I'm saying? And so she had his linens top. And so when she told Potiphar, she was like, listen, she was like, your boy came at me. He tried to get me. And Potiphar was like, who you talking about? She was like, Joseph. And Potiphar was like, nah, Joseph don't get down like that. Okay, now listen, you know you be lying. I know Potiphar knew his wife was lying. I know he did. Because every dude that's married to a raggedy female, he knows she raggedy. Okay? And so she was like, yes he did. He did try and get at me. See how I get his shirt, how I get his linen shirt. When Potiphar saw the linen shirt, He had to lock his boy up. Locked him up. He meets two people, two prisoners. The Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and his chief baker. They both have dreams. Joseph overhears them talking about the dreams, and he interprets it. He tells one of them, in 7 days, you're going to be good. You'll be back in your position. That's what he told the cupbearer. He told the baker, he said, in 7 days, you're going to be executed. So with a big homie, go on, prepare your mind. Set your affairs in a way. You ain't even got no affairs no more, my boy. You down here with us. And his words came true. And the cupbearer was restored to his previous position. And lo and behold, who started having dreams that they couldn't understand? The Pharaoh. And who was reminded of a little young chocolate brother that can interpret dreams? The cupbearer. So he tells the Pharaoh about Joseph. The Pharaoh calls Joseph up out of the prison, tells him what his dream. Joseph said, boom. All right, so listen. This was going to happen. You finna have 7 good years, and then you finna have 7 bad years. You finna have 7 bad years of famine. Okay, so during these good years, you need to make sure that you store it up. You need to make sure that the surplus, make sure with the crops, all of the agriculture, all of that. I'm loosely paraphrasing because I wasn't in the room. My name ain't in the Bible, even though they wasn't in the room either. But anyway, so this is what the people said. The Bible say that Joseph said, listen, so bam, 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 that's what's gonna happen. And so the Pharaoh followed his instructions. They had 7 years of abundance. Beautiful harvest crops. The oxen is having good, strong babies. The chickens is reproducing. Did they have chickens at the... Somebody find out how old chickens are. Because I don't feel like chickens that old. I feel like chickens. Somebody find out how old chickens are. Let me know. Okay, so anyway, and they put the stuff up. They took the surplus. They put it up. They had all of the rations put up. Bam, the famine hit. And Pharaoh looked. He said, he wasn't lying. And they were straight. Okay? And then he got his promotion. All right? So the traditional meaning of Joseph, you got to look at it. Joseph being put, the whole reason why Joseph ended up in the palace is because he went to prison. But he ended up in prison because he was in the pit. And he ended up in the pit because he was chosen according to the God, according to the Bibles, according to what the peoples from back then say, okay? So him being in prison and being falsely accused of assault, the traditional meaning was the righteous may sometimes suffer unjustly. What they say, the rain falls on the just and the unjust. That's the scripture that they like to throw up when you ask them, why do bad things happen in the world? Why do bad people get good things? And why do good people get bad things? That's what they give you. The rain falls on the just and the unjust. And while it may be an explanation, it damn sure isn't a comfort. Okay? The key principle here is that faithfulness does not guarantee immediate reward. And those are the type of lessons that used to piss me off. Because in my world, it always appeared as if the good always took so long to reap, but the bad was reaped immediately. Anytime you felt like you did bad, it always felt like those consequences came up immediately. But whenever you stayed on the straight and narrow, and whenever you felt like you was staying in the will of God, just keep waiting. He coming. Any day now. He's on time. He may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. I tell you, he's a long time gone. Shout out to Yahweh, the ultimate deadbeat. You heard me? And we wrote songs to justify that deadbeat shit. He may not come when you want him. Fuck you mean? I'm sorry if I want him, but he'll be there right on time. Whose time? The time was when I wanted him. What do you mean? What the do you mean? Like he's on time. He's on time. He's on time. Shout out to Dada. She was rocking that bitch though. Oh yes, he's on time. Babe, listen. We had a time in there, didn't we, heathens? We had a time. But anyway, okay. So the traditional meaning of Joseph's interpretation of dream is that God gives Joseph wisdom and discernment, and spiritual gifts create. The key principle is that spiritual gifts create opportunities for divine purpose. And let me say this. That's why it's so important. That it's so important to tune your gifts, because you never know where they're going to take you. You never know where your gifts are going to take you. All of the things that you've been taught to be afraid of, I'm channeling now. All of the things that you've been taught to be afraid of are the very things that can provide the liberties that you want in life. Everything about you that you stifle, everything about you that you tuck away, everything about you, I'm telling you, baby, the medicine is in the shadow. Y'all better get y'all asses in the community, black women. Anyway, all right, promotion of power. Joseph becomes a ruler of Egypt, second only to the Pharaoh, after his dream comes true, and the people of Egypt are protected against the 7 years of famine, because they had the 7 years of abundance in which they prepared themselves. Okay? So the traditional meaning is that God exalts Joseph at the appointed time. The key principle is divine timing is perfect. Now, my thing is, of course, the question is always going to be, well, why he couldn't just go straight from the pit to the palace? Because, see, this is the thing. They'll tell you that the pit and the prison were prerequisites to the palace, that there is no palace without the pit or the prison. And I don't know how much, the reason why I say I don't know how much I agree, because listen, not one point in time during this story does it say that Joseph changed his countenance. You don't see where Joseph is arguing with God. You don't see where Joseph is. And let me be sure. Now, I didn't heard the story plenty of times, but I ain't never heard nobody say Joseph complained at any point in time. We talk a lot about Job not complaining, but I don't remember Joseph. Now, Moses was getting pissed off. Okay? But let me find out. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. Did Joseph complain at all during his time in the pit or the prison before he was appointed to ruler of Egypt?
Do you want me to use ChatGPT to answer that?
Yes. It is. The Bible does not record Joseph ever complaining while he was in the pit or prison. In Genesis, he is portrayed as enduring his trials quietly and faithfully. Even when falsely accused and imprisoned, the text emphasizes his trust in God and his diligence, not any words of complaint. That's what I'm saying. So we teach this story from a standpoint of character development. But Joseph's character remained steadfast. So, I mean, I'm not going to say we teach this from the point of character development. There's an aspect of it that says, like, the betrayal and all of that is character development. But if his character never changed, then is it necessary? So, in my opinion, traditionally, this story is taught as faithfulness in the face of adversity. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back. So forgiveness of his brothers. What happens? Joseph chooses forgiveness instead of revenge. So what happens is during the famine that Joseph had warned them about, warned the Pharaoh about, which ultimately caused him to be promoted. Now we're in the 7 years of famine. Okay, the peoples is dying. They hungry. The babies ain't got no bread. Okay, the crops ain't coming in. The land is scorched. It's hot. It's a famine. There is no food. The people are coming up, last ditch efforts. They come into the palace to beg for rations. Okay, Joseph doing this thing. He operating. He checking in with the people. He running his corners. If we look at this from the D-boy perspective, okay, he making sure everybody on post. And then lo and behold, who he see? His raggedy ass brothers. And when he sees them, he's just like, I know that ain't who I think it is. Little big brother. What we got? Y'all doing here? Now, see, that would have been my response. But that was not Joseph's response. When Joseph saw them, he talked to them. They had no clue who he was. He asked them why they were there. They said that they were there for food. They needed help. The famine they had no rations. They ain't have no porridge. They ain't have nothing. The chickens that they didn't dry it up. Anybody got confirmation on the age of chickens? Okay, but the oxens not reproducing. We don't even have any oxen meat. So they was coming to ask for a little help, look government assistance. Please, sir. They at the food stamp office, where they asking you all these damn questions for them to give you $175 worth of stamps, and then act like they finna reach in their purse and give it to you. I done been there, baby. I walked out of a food stamp appointment. Baby, that black woman was talking to me so crazy. I kept, you keep trying to be nice, even though they being nice, nasty. Baby, the nice I was trying to get, the nice I was trying to be, the worst that bitch was the meanest she got. Baby, I forgot what she said. She said something so out of pocket to me. I immediately stopped and I started packing up my baby bags because I had two little ones. I'm in nursing school, 2 little ones. Then I got my 2 girls. Okay, my boys stay the same age for 3 weeks. I got 2 in diapers, and bet you in here talking to me crazy. But I started packing up my stuff, and she said, "Where you going?" I said, "Oh, I'm gone, baby." I said, "I don't know who you used to talking to. I don't know who you used to talk." I said, "But this ain't nah." I said, "I'm not her. I'm not." I said, I know that we group all of us in the same category." I said, "Nah, but I ain't one of them, babes." I said, "You act like you finna reach in your purse and take them stamps out and give them to me personally." I said, "Yeah, I don't need them that bad. I don't need them that bad." And I walked out. Yeah, that shit is sad, bruh. That the way that they deal with you. But anyway, so Joseph and his brothers, so they talking. They don't even recognize who he is. Okay, so they they have a little exchange. Joseph said, where y'all dad at?" And then when they told him that his dad was still alive, that really, because he loved his dad. Remember, he was a daddy boy. When he found out his dad was still alive, he wanted to see him. So they left. He made him leave his little brother and told him to bring his daddy back. And then he wept, because they didn't even know who he was, but that was still his brothers, and that was his daddy. And then he was in a position to help them. And when they came back, he revealed himself. And he took care of them. Because that's what the Bible says you should do. Now, if it was me, I don't know. Now, I'm just going to go another way, okay? But forgiveness of his brothers, what happens? Joseph chooses forgiveness instead of revenge. And I'm not saying you got to choose revenge. There are many other options. There are many other options other than revenge. And that's one of the things. That's how religion keeps you docile. That's how religion keeps you jaded. And it's how it keeps you in a position of constantly being disrespected and dishonored. Okay. But there are many other options other than revenge. All right. The key scripture here we go, is the favorite, Genesis 50:20, when Joseph reveals himself and he says, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. Here we go. And baby, they finna get it. They finna get it. You hear me? This one right here. Because see, if you got a good pastor, here is where he finna work you. He done built you up all this time, but right here, he finna work you. He finna make you remember all of the shit that tried to take you out. And I'm telling you, the more personal he make it, the more emotional he make it, the more you gonna holler. That spirit gonna get higher and higher and higher up in that sanctuary. Okay? That tithe and offering gonna be right, baby. You hear me? He done churched you real good, all right? So the traditional meaning is, look, that God can redeem suffering for a greater purpose. All right. Key principle here, of course, forgiveness. Forgiveness releases healing. Amen. Now let's look at it from the metaphysical interpretation. The traditional perspective says Joseph's story demonstrates God's providence through life's trials. Okay. The metaphysical perspective says the story can also be understood as the journey of the soul. Now, let me tell you, right here is for all of my people who wonder what a dark night of the soul is, what that tower moment looks like the journey into the spiritual awakening. Like this is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. Okay, this is what it looks like to be taught. All right. The key question is, what if Joseph's journey from the pit to the palace represents the awakening of your consciousness? And what is consciousness? It is the awareness. It is your understanding. It is your insight. It is your level of perspective. Okay. It is your inner standing. It is your knowledge set, your knowledge base. It is your ability to integrate information. Like, that's what consciousness is. Remember, there's 7 different stages of it. We're not all meeting each other. We're all on completely different levels of awareness. And most of the time, the mean frequency, the mean level, when I say mean, I mean MEAN, that average, the average frequency, the average level of awareness is very low, very basic. Okay. The focus shifts from historical events to spiritual transformation. Joseph becomes a symbol of the higher self emerging through adversity. So religion teaches it from the perspective, there it is, thank you. Religion teaches it from the perspective of remaining faithful through adversity. Metaphysics teaches it from the perspective of transformation through adversity. So the highest, it's literally death and rebirth. Okay, it's literally death and rebirth. We've already talked about that. I told my story on what my spiritual awakening looked like. If you new here, it's back. Just go to my page and skim through. You need to catch up anyway if you new here. And welcome, Heathen. Okay, so in this perspective, Joseph again equals the high. So Joseph represents the higher self, symbolizes divine potential, pure, raw, divine potential, what you can be, what your purpose can fulfill. It is the potential of you, of the divinity of who you are. It is your God body potential. You are infinite. It is your ether. It is your connection to the divine intelligence, to the ether, right? It is your, so Joseph symbolizes a spiritual identity, higher consciousness, and inner wisdom, knowledge of self. Okay. The metaphysical meaning, Joseph represents the divine dream within every person. All right. Every soul carries a higher purpose waiting to unfold. Let me tell you something. I think the worst place to be, that's rock bottom. If you've ever wondered what rock bottom looks like, that's rock bottom. The inability to see that you have purpose. The inability to understand that you have purpose. The inability to believe that you have purpose. That's rock bottom. What the external looks like makes no difference. When all of us hit rock bottom, that's rock bottom. You have lost the ability to see that you have purpose. You have lost the ability to see that you have meaning. You have lost the ability to see that you are just amazing. You are absolutely incredible. That's rock bottom. Whatever that, if you at rock bottom in a rehab, that's cool. If you at rock bottom in a jail cell, that's cool. If you at rock bottom in a psych ward, that's cool. If you at rock bottom in a bankruptcy office, that's cool. If you at rock bottom in a battered women's shelter, that's cool. If you rock bottom sitting in an HIV clinic, that's cool. You determine what the external is going to reflect. But that's what rock bottom is. It ain't got shit to do with the external, but it's got everything to do with where you are internally. Okay? That's why some people can lose everything and still not be at rock bottom. Okay? One of the saddest things, my last ex-husband, he did the way that their religion believes, they don't believe that people have purpose. They believe that the only purpose here is to be used for the glory of God. I mean, and it's Christianity, it's Church of Christ, but I remember hearing that and being like, and I remember I kept asking her, so I was like, so you don't believe that you called to do anything special? You know what I'm saying? Like anything significant, anything that would singularly identify you from the 8 billion other people? Like you don't think that there's something magnificent about you? And he was just like, no. And I just thought that was incredibly sad. And then when you sit in the churches and you listen to the sermons and you can hear the undercurrent of it, you can hear the undertone of it. Like that is it. But that's not just Church of Christ. That's every sector of religion, of specifically of Christianity. You're nothing. You're worthless. It's he doing you a favor by even letting your ragged ass sit up in here. Okay? So shut up and praise me, peasant. Okay? The coat of many colors represents your spiritual gifts. Listen, now is the time. If you are paying attention, gifts are coming on so strong. I'm gonna put this little peppermint in my mouth, y'all, because I don't want my sugar to drop. Gifts are coming online so strong, y'all. So freaking strong. Okay? If you are a dreamer, they amping up. If you're clairaudient, you probably hearing songs and stuff like crazy. Conversations, like if you're clairsentient, like claircognizant, like when I say, so my gifts are claircognizance for one, just the knowing, the divine knowing, divine knowledge and understanding. Because, and I'm gonna tell you, baby, listen, sometimes it scares me. The way I'll know something and have no freaking idea of how, why, or when I would have ever even come across that information to understand. But then when I look it up, it is indeed true and legit. I'd be like, what the my sister be laughing so hard because I'd be like, bitch, how did I know that? Like literally, how did I know that? My ability to see, my ability to hear, because clairaudience, I mean, yeah, clairaudience is not just about hearing songs and stuff. It's also about being able to hear the undertone, to hear the frequency, to hear the real conversation. You ever been talking to somebody? Man, listen, if you get it, you get it. I can't really explain it, but if you get it, you understand. Like you can be having a conversation with somebody and you could be hearing everything they're not saying. Everything that they're not saying. I mean, you can hear it so clear and it's freaky. People will start talking to you randomly and stuff. Like, what the fuck? And you can, like, I can see it. I can hear. I remember the first time I did a reading. Listen, baby, caught me completely off guard. I've always known that, I had mediumship abilities and psychic abilities and intuitive abilities. I've known that since I was a kid. I've known I was a death doula because the way that my loved ones or other spirits would come to me before they transitioned or right after they transitioned, the way that they would show up in my dreams. And then when I was a hospice nurse, that's when my death doula stuff really came online. That's when I started like really seeing spirits and things like that. But well, let me shut up because I forgot what I was about to say. Anyway, all right. So, spiritual gifts are coming online. Symbolizes unique purpose, divine favor, individual gifts, and higher calling. Okay. Tune into your gifts. Whatever it is, whatever that is, don't run from it anymore. Don't run from it because I'm gonna tell you, they're only gonna get louder. And a lot of people that you'll find trying to that find themselves tussling with their mental health. I don't like to stay struggling, or I don't like to imply any battle because there should not be a battle between you and your mental health. The mental health disorder, because that's what it is. It is being out of alignment with your higher self. That's what it is. You split. Your mind is screaming because you are in direct opposition to purpose, to self. You are in direct opposition, and it could be brought on by trauma. It could be brought on by abuse. It could be brought on, but you have to come into alignment with self. You can never let anything be louder than self. Not pain, not frustration, not anger, not fear, not pride, not ego. It can never be louder than self. It's so expensive to not listen to you. It's so goddamn expensive to not listen to you. It's so expensive to not listen to you. And you don't know how expensive. Listen, that's one of them bills that don't get tallied up to the very, very, very end. This one you've been at the bar all night with the tab open, baby. With the tab open. And you just been balling out. And then you get that ticket and you see how much it's actually costing you to be out of alignment with self. Okay? Excuse me 1 second, y'all. They getting a little loud. Hold on, we about to wrap this up. All right, I got to wrap this up because them little niggas is not gonna let me be great. Okay, they can't be here on a Sunday no more. Anyway, all right. So the coat of many colors represents unique spiritual qualities that each person possesses, but the key principle here is that purpose often attracts resistance from lower consciousness. Because remember, one of the reasons that Joseph's brothers hated him was because of that coat. That coat said, "You think you're better than us. Your gifts will make people resent you. Your gifts will make people hate you." And you're not doing anything but being you. How y'all gonna hate me for dreaming? How y'all gonna hate me for daring to be bigger than what they told us that we had? How y'all gonna hate me for wanting to get out the field? How y'all gonna hate me not even just for dreaming and wanting? How y'all gonna hate me for knowing I'm getting out this bad? Okay, and I didn't ask for this. But I know I'm different. I know I ain't meant to stay here. How y'all gonna get mad at me? Because I won't put limits on me. And that is why most people resent you. Because you are not bigger than the program. If you can actually make some shit shake, then what does that say about me being stuck and not having it? If you got motion, how come I don't? You think you better than me? Never mind the fact that the only reason why you don't have motion is because you paying attention to me. Do your own thing. Harness your own gifts. Focus it. That's why I hate social media. I'm grateful for the opportunity that it's given me, for the ability to be able to land my voice in different spaces. That's a beautiful thing. Like somebody from South Africa saw one of my reviews on the polygamist. I'm sorry, y'all. The devil don't want y'all to get this word. I'm finna act like y'all old pastors. The devil don't want y'all to get this word because why the fuck is everybody bothering me? They know better. They know better. The devil don't want y'all to get this word. That is energetic. In the intuitive world, that's what we call energetic interference. That's all this is. Because again, I'm being an intuitive guide. So it's just energetic interference that doesn't want you to self-actualize. I forgot what I was saying, so we're just gonna move on. Okay. Let's see. And I apologize for the interruptions, you guys. Please give me grace. I thank you for giving me grace. Okay. The brothers equal lower aspects of consciousness: jealousy, fear, ego, limiting beliefs. The metaphysical meaning is that the brothers represent inner forces that oppose spiritual growth. All of those negative thoughts, those intrusive thoughts, those self-doubts, those fears, those self-limiting beliefs, those self-imposed limitations, those voices that you listen to that really aren't yours. They're the voices of family members that wanted to dull stamp your light out from when you were young. That's the brothers. Fuck the brothers. All right? Don't listen to the brothers. They were never going to be you. They were never going to beat you. Amen. I say, hey, woman. Okay? The greatest opposition often comes from within. The only opposition comes from within. Let me tell you something. And the reason why I say that, the reason why I say the only opposition comes from within is because, again, you're broadcasting, you're assigning, you're strategizing. So even if you meet external opposition, the internal processing is what's going to determine if it's actually external opposition. You see what I'm saying? So don't pay attention to what's on the outside because, again, nothing has meaning until we assign it the meaning. So is this opposition or is this just I'm supposed to pivot? You see what I'm saying? So don't pay attention to that. The only opposition comes from within. Your interpretation determines opposition. Okay. The pit. This is equivalent to the dark night of the soul. We've all been there, baby. We all get my stomach gonna do the same thing every time I think about it. If you've had your dark night of the soul, you never forget your dark night of the soul. It is how they say at the beginning of Eve's Bayou, indelibly imprinted on the brain. You never forget it. It's always with you. It's the moment you died. You went into the ground. You went into the darkness, into the pit, into the primordial chaos of who you were. Okay? This symbolizes isolation, inner struggle, transformation, and spiritual testing. It is the chrysalis, baby, the self-spun tomb of the butterfly. We right back to it. It's the dissolution. You're dissolving into the goo. You're finna get gooey, baby. Okay? The metaphysical meaning, the pit represents periods when life appears to be moving backwards. Because what? Why I get here? What is? Whoa! What is happening here? What's going on? Okay, I was doing good. Life was calm. What's happened? What is this? We ain't been here in a long time. What is this? Okay, yeah, that's that. The key principle is the pit is preparation, not punishment. Okay. Egypt symbolizes the material world. It symbolizes physical existence, human experience, the human condition, all of the feelings, the things, all of the things about just being in this meat suit, and lessons through adversity. It's the trials and the tribulations. Egypt is where consciousness learns mastery through experience. When I say, listen, shout out to my tabloon. This is my favorite. Now I'm an ink girl. I'm tatted. Okay, my upper body is tatted. I'm getting ready to start working on my back, the rest of my neck. Like I got some. I'm telling you, I'm finna be a Chipotle bag. Okay, but this by far, my tabloon is my favorite tattoo, my most special tattoo. It's the marking of self mastery. Okay, it's marking your chin is an indigenous practice, and if you black and female, you indigenous to the planet. Shout out to the gods, god bodies, baby. But it's a practice to mark different things. Some women mark it when they become mothers, so they mark it for their children. So you'll see multiple lines. Some people, some women, some cultures, some indigenous cultures, they have different designs. Different. It symbolizes different things. But marking the face is a declaration. Okay, my declaration is of mastery. Not nothing. I'm master of self. Nothing rules me. It might be able to move me, but it don't rule me. You see what I'm saying? So even if I'm moved, I know how to bring myself back to self. There was a time where I couldn't say that. There was a time when I could not say that, when I could not find self. I found self. I've mastered self. And this is my marking to indicate it. Okay. But that comes through experience. Like they said, good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment. All right. So get what you need. Okay. Let's see, key principles. Spiritual growth often occurs within difficult circumstances. Always. Those life-changing events, those big ba-da boom, ba-da boom, ba-da bing, ba-da big, ba-da boom. Yay. Shout out to the Fifth Element. Yay. That's the time. That's the stretching. Potiphar's house can symbolize character development, responsibility, discipline, stewardship. Oh, it's frozen. Hold on one second, y'all. Baby, listen, I don't know. When I say, y'all, we ain't never had this many interferences, and all of a sudden the screen just froze. So I don't know who I'm supposed to be talking to, but I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna finish this thing, even if it's a little longer. Stick with me, break it up, do what you need to do. But something don't want you. But whoever this is listening to me, baby, hold on, okay, hold on. I ain't never had this much difficulty trying to get out of Sunday school for heathens. So I'm gonna keep pushing through. All right. Potiphar's house symbolizes character development. It symbolizes responsibility, discipline, stewardship of self, baby. Of self. You got to be responsible for self. You got to be disciplined with self. You got to be a good steward of self. You can't just be out here slutting yourself out, just giving yourself away. One of the things as a tattoo girl, when I was coming up, like we all got them little tattoos where we was just slutting ourselves out, getting little $30 tattoos, letting people practice on you and shit. But you can't slut. You can't. This your temple, baby. Your skin. You can't slut your skin out to everybody. You learn that as a person who gets tatted over the years. You don't let people play on your temple, like on your canvas like this or like that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to be a good steward of yourself, how to ration yourself responsibly. You see what I'm saying? Not fragment yourself, just ration yourself from time to time, and then know how to bring yourself whole, how to reconcile yourself. Okay? The metaphysical meaning is the soul learns integrity before elevation. You got to be pure, baby. You got to be clean. You got to be right with you. That reflection got to be, because that's all you got at the end of the day. It's the first thing you see when you wake up in the morning, and it's the last thing you're going to look at before you go to bed at night. That reflection. Integrity is everything. Okay? I was talking to my brother and his wife about that the other day. You know what I'm saying? I was like, because we was talking about some shit that happened in the past, and I told him, I say, that shit bothered me because it sent me back to the place with the previous situation where people thought that I had knowledge about a situation that I didn't. And it made people question my integrity. It's people don't fuck with me till this day because of some shit that somebody had me in that I had no knowledge of. You see what I'm saying? I said, so my integrity is important. I never want people to think that I'm some sideways ass person, some gossip. Like, I pride myself on saying that I ain't never crossed nobody. I ain't never switched up. Integrity is everything. And you will stay, because a lot of people, let me tell you something, a lot of people call themselves going through these awakenings and all of that, and they still don't come out with integrity. That's why you see a lot of these spiritualists who end up running back to the church. A lot of these spiritualists who end up in psychosis. A lot of these spiritualists who end up in these scams and these cults and things is because they have no spiritual integrity. This walk ain't for the weak, and it damn sure ain't for the deceivers. Cause it's gonna always come out. It's gonna always come out. It ain't gotta look a certain way. It ain't gotta sound a certain way. When I first started off on my path, I kept my head wrapped, and it was instinctively. It was nothing that I really wanted to do. But for almost a year and a half, my head was wrapped. So if you see some of my older videos and I got head wraps on and I got crystals, listen, I utilized a lot of crystal therapy to heal. Because during that time, I was in school as a holistic practitioner. So we were when I learned the importance, like, y'all, the shit that they teach us to turn our nose up at and all of that, like, I had to use crystals to transmute a lot. I had a lot of energy that needed to be transmuted. So I had to cover my head. I had to protect my crown. And I wore a lot of crystals people can look at it as adornment, but that's medicine, baby. It's no different than a medication patch. I was healing myself. That version of me, that baby was in rehab. You see what I'm saying? She had just come out of hell. That's like when a patient have a stroke and or a heart attack and they got to go to cardiac rehab or something for like 30 to 45 days to come back. So now my appearance is different because this is an integrated being. You see what I'm saying? That baby was hurting. This baby don't carry that pain. You see what I'm saying? This Sheena don't carry that pain. See, once you get, like, in my community right now, we've just unlocked the final station, which is the illumination station, and it teaches you about living an illuminated, sovereign, integrated life after you've gone through all of the previous stations. You can once you get out and you decenter and you deconstruct, now you still got to go live. You can't stay right here. This is a season of transition. This is the energy of transition. I'm off the subject. No, it is what it is. You can't stay here, baby. You've taken your licks. You've learned your lessons. You understand what needs to be understood. You saw what you needed to see. You got it. And you can trust yourself. You can trust this new center that you've built. You can trust this new stability that you've given yourself. You can trust this new frequency of alignment. You're not going to mess it up. You can't mess it up. There's no way that you could, because now you have an awareness of it. At first, you didn't. At first, you did not. So find self and stay there and allow that to guide you. But don't freeze up and just stay in the part where you've come out of prison. Okay, you got your scars, you got your bruises. You've gone through the prison part. You've gone through the inner refinement. And if you haven't and you're in it now, keep working it. You're not just going to stay here. It can feel like forever. I looked up and 5 years had passed, and I swear, you don't even realize it. You don't even realize that you've integrated so much. You don't even realize how far you've come. You don't even realize how much you've grown, how much you've evolved. That's why you have to always take account. Stop and take an account. Take an assessment. Do I still need this? Do I still need this person? Do I still need this boundary? Do I still need this crutch? Do I still need this fairy tale? Do I still need this story? Or can I get up and move? Can I trust myself? Can I trust my higher God? Can I trust that I am God? God is me. And I am the perfect manifestation of what this energy imprint was intended to be. Baby, this thing that tried to tear us up, but we got through it. I must leave it right here. Okay? Because I don't believe in forcing. We just going to let it flow. Happy Sunday, heathens. Have a good one.